In this video, we delve into a provocative question. Are global climate agreements merely a facade for hidden political ambitions? As climate change poses one of the greatest challenges of our time, international efforts to tackle it are often scrutinized for their effectiveness. Join us as we explore key issues such as the lack of enforcement mechanisms, the unequal burdens faced by developing countries, and the potential for greenwashing by governments and corporations. Through this analysis, we'll uncover whether these agreements genuinely pursue environmental justice or serve other strategic purposes. 1. Lack of enforcement mechanisms. Global climate agreements are often celebrated for setting ambitious environmental goals. However, many of these agreements lack binding enforcement mechanisms, which means countries can commit to targets without facing real consequences if they fail to meet them. This lack of accountability raises questions about the true effectiveness of these agreements. Are they more about creating an image of action rather than ensuring tangible results? If nations can easily sidestep their commitments, it becomes easier to suspect that these agreements might be designed more for appearances than action. The absence of strict enforcement can lead to a situation where nations tout their environmental credentials without implementing necessary changes. 2. Unequal burden on developing countries. One major criticism of global climate agreements is the unequal burden they place on developing countries. These nations often find themselves under pressure to adopt strict environmental regulations that can hinder their economic growth. Meanwhile, wealthier countries, with more resources at their disposal, often find ways to maintain their industrial operations through loopholes. This disparity creates a situation where developing nations are forced to prioritize environmental measures over immediate economic needs. While the intentions behind such agreements may be noble, the execution often leaves poorer countries struggling, raising suspicions about the real motives behind these global commitments. 3. Promotion of green economies for strategic gains. Wealthier nations frequently leverage climate agreements to promote green technologies, thereby gaining a competitive advantage in emerging markets. By pushing for policies that favor green industries, these countries can boost their own economies while making developing nations dependent on imported technologies. This creates a dynamic where the richer countries not only benefit economically but also exert influence over the technological landscape of less developed regions. The promotion of green economies, while beneficial for the environment, can sometimes mask strategic economic gains for powerful nations, adding another layer to the debate on the real purpose of climate agreements. 4. Carbon market exploitation. Carbon trading and offset markets, which are often encouraged by agreements like the Paris Accord, have come under scrutiny. Critics argue that they function more as profit-driven schemes than genuine environmental solutions. These markets allow corporations and nations to buy their way out of reducing emissions. Instead of making substantial changes to reduce greenhouse gases, entities can simply purchase carbon credits, creating a superficial appearance of compliance. This system raises questions about the integrity of such mechanisms and whether they serve more as financial instruments than as genuine solutions to climate change. 5. Geopolitical leverage. Climate agreements can also serve as tools for geopolitical influence. Powerful nations often use them to exert pressure on others under the guise of climate action. By aligning countries with their political or economic interests, they can wield significant influence on the global stage. This dynamic can lead to a situation where climate agreements are less about environmental action and more about advancing specific geopolitical goals. The intertwining of environmental policy with international relations adds a complex layer to the debate, making it difficult to discern the true intentions behind these agreements. 6. Focus on fossil fuels while overlooking other pollutants. Many climate agreements prioritize the reduction of fossil fuel emissions but often overlook other significant contributors to environmental degradation. Issues like deforestation and industrial agriculture are sometimes sidelined, potentially to protect certain industries. This selective focus raises questions about the comprehensive nature of these agreements. Are they truly addressing all facets of environmental harm, or are they designed to protect specific economic interests? By neglecting other pollutants, agreements may fail to achieve their intended environmental goals, further fueling skepticism about their true purpose. 7. Opportunities for wealth redistribution. The concept of wealth transfer is another contentious aspect of global climate agreements. Mechanisms like the Green Climate Fund require wealthier nations to contribute billions of dollars to help developing countries combat climate change. While this may seem like a noble endeavor, critics argue that it serves as a tool for global wealth redistribution rather than genuine environmental action. The financial dynamics of these agreements can lead to suspicions that they are more about shifting economic power than addressing climate change. This perspective adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing debate about the true motives behind global climate commitments. 8. Greenwashing by governments and corporations. The term, greenwashing, refers to the practice of making misleading claims about environmental actions to appear more responsible than one actually is. Global climate agreements provide a platform for both nations and corporations to engage in this behavior. By publicly committing to ambitious environmental goals, they can mask a lack of genuine progress. This facade allows them to maintain a positive public image while continuing business as usual. The prevalence of greenwashing raises doubts about the authenticity of commitments made under these agreements, leading to questions about whether they are more about appearances than real change. 9. Shift in national sovereignty. By committing to global climate agreements, countries often cede some level of sovereignty. This allows international bodies to influence domestic policies, sparking concerns about centralized global control. While international cooperation is essential for addressing climate change, the implications for national sovereignty are significant. Countries may find themselves implementing policies that align with global standards rather than prioritizing their unique needs. This shift raises questions about the balance between international collaboration and maintaining national autonomy, adding another dimension to the debate on the true purpose of global climate agreements. 10. Inconsistent targets and accountability. The voluntary nature of many climate agreements leads to inconsistent targets across countries. This inconsistency makes it easier for some nations to prioritize political agendas while avoiding meaningful climate action. Without uniform standards and accountability, the effectiveness of these agreements is undermined. Countries can set targets that are convenient rather than ambitious, leading to a lack of genuine progress. This variability raises questions about the true commitment of nations to environmental action and whether political agendas are taking precedence over ecological concerns.